Great, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, what do we talk about too much and not enough? I'll start off with the story. I used to own a bookshop. It was a left-wing bookshop. It was a lot of fun. I know Rosemary's been there. But twice I've had to separate customers who were arguing over climate change. I mean, arguing badly. I had to go out from behind the counter and say, please, leave the shop or shut up. There's no way to get a sale, but that's what I had to do. And the first time was about whether climate change existed. The second time was whether it was human-induced or animals or whatever it was. And it was always amusing, of course. So in the end, we separated the books, and at one end we put books with a sign saying climate change is a communist plot run by the UN. And at the other end, we put a sign saying climate change is going to destroy us all and climate change deniers are stupid. My sales of that genre went up, so there's something about marketing there. But that's one of the things we do still talk about too much is getting into ideology, whatever the ideology is. And I know in the small business sector, we believe that's a real problem. There's basic ideologies we all believe in, of course, health and those sorts of things. But there's people that are arguing about their point, and it's got nothing to do with reality that's out there. So we certainly spend too much time talking about that. I mean, the politics of it, it's getting better, in my opinion, but there's still people there that just want to push their particular barrow, not talk about what's actually happening out there. So that's something we spend too much on now. Not enough, and it's been alluded to by the panel, and it's nice to be on an expert panel like this, is the information. And some of this comes back to my council. We need to go out and get these case studies, and I know I've been talking to Rosemary about it, and we will go out and get the case studies because I know that's what public servants need, that's what the media needs, that's what people need, is exactly what's happening to the consumer. In my particular case, it's the small business consumer out there. My group runs on confidence, always will run on confidence. If we don't know what our expenses are next year, it's a bit hard to run a business. It's a bit hard to employ someone. It's a bit hard to make someone permanent, whatever it is. So we need to know what's going on. We need to know how much it's going to cost. We need to know if it's going to go up, by how much will it go up, and when will it go up. Now, some of those answers aren't possible, but we need to know if they're not possible to get an answer. So, as I say, that comes back to industry. So we are going to go out there and we are going to get the case studies and listening to the rural sector. We've got to look at the regions. We've got to look at different industry sectors. The home-based sector, and there's a lot of home-based businesses in Australia, are not going to be impacted the same as the manufacturing sector. And that's without a doubt. So we're going to look at those sorts of things, and in the various case studies that we'll do, and we need to do them over the next 6 months, we'll continue to work on the barriers, which were mentioned before. Now, one of the problems we have is in the biggest shopping centres. You get people like Westfields, just try not to go into a Westfields if you can help it, but anyway. We have people like Westfields now, if they put solar, and I was talking to a person who's looking at putting solar into the big shopping centres, will they pass the savings on? I would suggest they never have in the past. As a matter of fact, I would suggest they will probably increase the cost for the tenants, and that's the nature of what they do. So we will be looking at that sort of barrier to a small business, and in this case they're retailers obviously, small businesses gaining or getting the benefit of good technology, new technology and technology that's being implemented. It is a real issue because, again, that's about confidence, and we need to make sure that that's managed properly. The implementation, as I was saying, and it's very important. Now, the case studies, and again, I'll be talking to Rosemary and her team, we want to get good case studies. So we can get case studies saying, well, this isn't working here or this isn't working there, but we want to get the ones saying, well, in this particular local government area, and if we can find some local government doing the right thing, here's what's happening and here's the benefits that have come out of it. And that's the sort of case studies that I know people want to see, the positive case studies. And that's what we're going to try and do in our sector, is pull up the case studies that are real, that are positive and constructive. One of the ones I heard years ago, just on the negative side, was some hairdressers did some work on their salons. They use a lot of power, apparently, I wouldn't know. And they put in new lights and did a whole range of things to save money. And the landlord came along and said, oh, this premises are worth a lot more now, and they put the rent up. So they didn't spend a cent on doing it, the landlord, but they said, oh, this is fantastic, so they put the rent up. So they're the sorts of things that we'll be looking at to make sure, one, if it has happened, And it's happened very rarely that we know that. So this is not a structural issue or whatever out there. And number two, that it is happening too often, then we'll go and we'll talk to the department and those fabulous public servants that work there, and we'll talk to them and say, fix this problem. And did you know recently the Australian Public Service was judged as third best in the world? Did you know that? That's fantastic, and I'm not surprised by that. I just want to get that out there, that there's a lot of good things happening around the place, and we want to be positive about more things, and that's why our case studies, Rosemary, will look at the good outcomes that have happened out there and push other people in the same direction. Thank you.